Hey y'all, Grandma Rose here. Right behind me, look at this. Let me see. And back up here you can see. That's my beautyberry. A beautyberry bush that is in full bloom right now. So that means in a few months, this fall, this plant, this shrub, this bush, I suppose, whatever you want to call it, is going to be just loaded. Every single one of these branches is just loaded in flowers. It's going to be gorgeous in the fall, and I will certainly show you what that's going to be in the fall when that happens. But I wanted to show you this because I'm going to tell you a little bit about this plant and then about some of the other plants that I have growing in my garden that have either finished flowering or are flowering right now. I wanted to do those right now while I still had them on my mind, and I know they're things that I haven't shown you before, so I'm going to be going with that. So I'm going to show you some pretty pictures of the beautyberry, and then I'll go on and I'll show you these other things. You heard the rooster, of course. The roosters are always crowing, and they haven't been fed yet this morning, so they're especially wanting my attention. So here we go. There's the beautyberry. I'll turn around in a second and I'll let you see it some more. Here are the flowers. Have you ever seen the close-up flowers on a beautyberry? So that's what the flower buds, not the flower buds, there's what the flower buds look like. Here, these are the buds getting ready to open. They'll probably be open tomorrow or so. Here's the ones that are open today. And down here are the ones that are already forming berries. These are going to be the beautiful magenta berries that we'll see in the fall. Look at this. Now here's the tip of the branch, and what do we know from the things that I've shown you before on plants? How are the leaves arranged on this shrub? Well, let's look there. I'll show you these first. Then I'll get down where we can see without the beautiful berries and the beautiful flowers in the way. Look a little bit more at the leaf arrangement on this. Get down to the botany on it. Okay. Pretty. Here we go. So let's come down right in here, down here on this branch right here that I'm wiggling. Right down in there. So what do you see right there? Well, you see we've got the leaves that are opposite each other. And if you look right down there in the middle, you see little buds. So that means that these leaves have a bud at the base of each one of them. And so there we go. We know that these are not compound leaves. They're just simple leaves. And they've got serrate edges. That's important too sometimes. If you want to look up something, you need to know, first of all, probably, are the leaves opposite? Are they alternate? And in this plant, these leaves are opposite. And they're simple, and they've got serrate edges. The back of the leaves, prominent veins on the back, they're a little rough, they're a little fuzzy. I don't know if you can see on here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just a little bit fuzzy, not much. Right along the veins, you see that? So anyway, this is a beautyberry. And in the fall, this thing is going to be absolutely fabulous. It's going to be gorgeous. So we'll look it up a little bit more. Maybe I can tell you some more about it in the end notes. I think that's about all you need to know about it. It's a shrub. It blooms in the early to midsummer. Pink flowers. But more about I don't know how many. I'd have to get out and look closer. How many anthers and all of that stuff. And that's one of the ways that when you start identifying something, you need to know how many petals the flowers have and how many anthers the petals have and all of that kind of stuff. That's not important. That's not important for this video. That darn rooster really wants out of his coop, doesn't he? To let him out in just a second. So here we go. And over here, here's a branch that hasn't really, the ones on the left side here, those have already flowered. And the ones, of course, down here to the right are just flowering or beginning to flower. So the one Here, that one is going to continue all the way up to its tip. Look at these. I'm just astounded. This is going to be all the way from the tip of the branches all the way down into the base of the branches. This thing is going to be just covered in berries. So this is beautiful, and this is my Beautyberry. And I will go on and I will continue to show you some more plants in my garden today. I want to show you this beautiful shrub tree. I don't know how to describe it. I guess it's a tree. I hear a car coming, so let's let this car come by first. It's a truck. This thing, gosh, I guess easily 20 feet tall now, 15 to 20 feet tall now, right here. And this is the time of year it blooms. I've had it bloom as late as July, mid-June to early July. This is a little bit early for it. I guess this is about the time that it bloomed last year. So the cold winter, cold spring didn't really affect its bloom. But isn't this thing beautiful? Look at this. The name of this tree, you may find it in garden catalogs as, in the shrubs rather than in the trees. So I suppose you would consider this to be a large shrub, but it's a woody plant nevertheless. And this woody plant is in the verbena family. You know what the garden flower verbena is, and there's some other things too that are in that same family. But it is just lovely. Look at this. It's also a medicinal herb. I'm not exactly sure of what well, actually I think I am. I'm not positive though, but let me show you. Look at this. Look at these beautiful flowers. The foliage is aromatic. It's also, we have a compound leaf. Actually, the leaf looks a whole lot like marijuana, but it's not. This is not that family at all, and you can see it doesn't have the serrated edges. I mean, the shape of the leaf is the same, but that's all. It's just called a palmately compound leaf, like your palm. So that's palmately compound. And there's a lot of other trees that have that same, trees and bushes and other plants. A lot of other plants that have that same shape leaf. So don't be alarmed. As you can see, this is right alongside my front walk in my front yard. Now the species name for this, let me back up. The common name for this is Chaste Tree, C-H-A-S-T-E, Chaste Tree. However you pronounce it, chaste or chaste, it's up to you, doesn't matter. And the scientific name is Vitex, and the species name, at least the genus name, is Vitex. The species name is hyphenated, agnus-castus. Don't know what that means. But what I read about this one time is that it's called Chaste Tree because it was an extract. I don't know what a tincture of it, exactly how it was taken, was given to young girls to, I would say, to lower their libido, if you understand what I mean on that. And it keeps them chaste. So there we are. Just a beautiful woody shrub. I don't know how far north this grows. I've seen this used in highway plantings when I lived in Texas. And I grew it when I lived in Memphis. In fact, I brought this seedling with me. No, I did not. I take that back. The variety that I had in Memphis was white. And I had grown that from a seedling, from a seed. This one I found in a catalog, a plant catalog, and ordered the plant. And it's a beautiful blue. It's just so pretty. There's not enough things in the flowering world that are blue. I love blue plants. Isn't that pretty? So, talking about the medicinal value of this plant, what I'm thinking, I know it has berries, seeds. Here's left over from last year's growth. See this? The dried fruit on here. Little hard seeds. And they're very aromatic. And I know that that's part of the plant that's used medicinally. We'll find some more. Well, you see here's some other from last year. And here's one hanging on right there. So these are collected, and I'm pretty sure they're probably dried and ground up. Some more back in there too. Let me see here. Here we go. So it's not just the leaves, the stems, and the flowers. It's the dried fruit, the dried berries on here. Let me get some of these. I'll show you. See? It's hard. So that's one of the plant parts that is collected and used medicinally. An herbal remedy. Look at these bees. Look at the bees. Isn't that amazing? Look how they're working on that flower. Oops. Yeah, let's go over to this one. There's two on that one. And it's the bumblebees that are doing all the work over here. Oh, isn't this fabulous? I just love it. One of my favorite plants, and one that you just don't hear about. I just love this chaste tree. Isn't it just gorgeous? It is an absolutely full bloom. It's about as beautiful as it gets, and it is just amazingly gorgeous. The chaste tree in the front garden outside my front walk. Last year, I put a brick or a stone on it, and what is it called? Layering. I propagated it by layering, and that's what people do that with azaleas and hydrangeas and other bushes, and I did it with my chaste tree. And I produced this little plant right here. Now let me show you where I have it. I dug a hole and I stuck it in the ground here just to keep it alive. So next year when I go to the Deep South Gathering in March, I'm going to dig that up and I'm going to bring that with me. So if you are at the Deep South Gathering next March and you see this tree, you better snap it up because I only have one of them. Yeah, this is the Stokesia. I've mentioned this before. The common name for it is Stokes Aster, like S-T-O-K-E-S, Stokes Aster. And the scientific name is Stokesia laevis. I've mentioned this before. And here it is. Let me show you. Let me back up a little bit so you can see where it is. Along my walk, right, my front walk, going to my door. And all along here is the Stokesia. It's what, 2.5 feet tall maybe? It's not 3 feet tall. It is a perennial. Comes back every year, blooms early in the summer, like now. And I started it from seed, and I don't remember where I got the seed. So there's different colors. So there's a light lavender and a kind of a medium lavender, white, very pale pink, all kind of pretty colors. Look down here. Here's some white hanging over the walk. It looks a lot like what is it? Centauria. What is the common name of that? Bachelor button. That's what it is. Centauria is bachelor button. So it looks a whole lot like bachelor button, but not the deep blue. Let's see these. Just going out to my car, going to the dollar store to buy a ratchet tie down. I'm trying to get my gate back in order, but let me show you. Here's my car key. So here's that next to my car key. You can get an idea of what the size is. They're just pretty. It's just a pretty flower. You don't have to have veggies everywhere, and man, does it ever attract the pollinators. Down here, and this one right here, you can see there's a little bitty bee working that one. And yep, it's got pollen on him. A little bitty bee, lots of butterflies, bumblebees, all kinds of bees. So yes, it does attract pollinators. And later on in the summer, I'll have seeds for this. I will see if I can find a place that's where I bought the seeds. I don't remember where. Look here, here's another one. Little bee. There's down over in here. See down there, there's bees on those too. So yeah, it does attract pollinators. Not seeing a whole lot of honeybees this year. Don't know why. But yeah, so this is my Stokes Aster, and it's one of these really, really pretty plants that you don't hear about. Now you can look online at the different online nurseries where you can buy plants. Oh, like Bluestone Perennials is a really good one. And a lot of places you can buy the plants, and you can buy these plants. There is a cultivar named Peachy's Pick. Now it's not peach. I mean, you see what the colors of this are. They're in the blues and the pinks rather than the oranges. But Peachy was the name of the person who selected this variety and cultivated it. I think she probably got a packet of seeds like I did, and then found one that she really, really liked, and kept dividing it until she finally got the cultivar enough of them, and then they were marketed, and they've been really popular. So again, look at the bees working these. Another thing I wanted to show you about these, you see how after the flower dries, the flower dies, it's been pollinated, it's going to start making seeds. The dried, here, there we go. You can just pick that right off. It just comes right off. That. And then there's another one up here. It just comes off. The petals just come off. Like so. I'm not putting any pressure at all. Well, that one's not ready. But look at this. And then it leaves an attractive seed head. There's some right in here. I get those two in one thing. Look at that. See, they just fall right off like that, and then leaving. You get to tap it a little bit, and that's what it leaves. It's nice. It's nice looking. It's an attractive landscape plant. I would like to introduce you to this because it's a really, really pretty plant, and most people have never heard of it. Over here, in this little walk, this is where the Stokesia is. Stokes Aster. There's a little white one. But as you see, most of them have finished flowering. There are still a few flowers scattered, excuse me, scattered here and there. But for the most part, they're finished. Just wanted to show you how they grow. The leaves are, this is the flower stalk. And there's a few leaves, there's the flowers on the flower stalk. Can you see this? Flower stalk. And then after you cut them off, all you have is just a little cluster of leaves at the bottom. Very neat and tidy. It's kind of rambly like this when it's flowering, but it's pretty. And then once it's done, you cut them off and it's a nice low plant again. Lovely, lovely plant. The leaves are kind of a bluish green. You see this? I don't know if you can tell the color. They're not a bright green. They're bluish green, and they've got this color that's called glaucous. I don't know how to describe it, and I should be able to describe it. Kind of a waxy looking a little bit, and a kind of bluish, but with it's not shiny. And well, it's definitely a blue-green, and it's just sort of a matte color, almost a powdery blue almost. And the underside of the leaf, you see over here, there's one. You can see the underside of that leaf on top of the other one. So the underside is lighter than the other. They've got serrations down the edges on these stem leaves. But down here at the bottom, you don't see those serrations on these. See, that's kind of interesting. It's different anyway. I guess if you were out in the field and you were trying to identify it, didn't know what it was, that would be an identifying characteristic. But it does not make a tall plant until it's flowering. And you saw pictures of that a minute ago. So this is what it looks like after it is flowered. And if you notice, it's not messy looking even now. I'm not going to cut this back. I'm going to wait until not all of them, a good many of these flowers mature and produce seeds, and I'll collect seeds for this, and I will have these seeds. I'll probably bring them to the Deep South Gathering when I go next year, and maybe even have some in my Etsy shop. Now that you know what it is and how pretty it is, some of you may want some seeds for this. But it's a really pretty plant. And then, now once they finish blooming and you don't have all the color, you can see the little pecan tree that's coming up over there in my rose bush. I need to get over there and get that out. If you're a gardener, there's always something like that. And right there, you see that tall plant that's coming up right there? Didn't see that before when all these were flowering. That's a goldenrod, so that's going to come out. That doesn't belong here. Pretty out in the field, but I don't want it growing in my front garden. Again, here's the phlox that we've already seen. It's just so gorgeous. I'm still in awe of this stuff. Like I've said, this is probably one of my top 5 flowers. I love it. And I'm so happy that I have it in my garden. But this video is not about phlox. This is about Stokesia, Stokes Aster, and behind me, here's the Chaste Tree, right here. Right there. There's the Chaste Tree. And the first plant that we saw, which was the Beautyberry. So we're showing you a shrub and a little tree and a perennial flower. So bye y'all. See you next time.